What if the way you've been telling your life story reveals the secret to what is holding you back? Stories play an integral part in how we see not only ourselves, but the whole world. Stories are more than just an important part of communication. They also reveal hidden aspects of our inner talk, which can either support us or end up holding us back from the very things we want most in life, without us even realizing it. Join author, mindset coach, and award-winning singer-songwriter Carrie Rowan on her show, Look for the Good, every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. when she shares nuggets of wisdom from her internationally best-selling book, Tell a New Story, 5 Simple Steps to Release Your Negative Stories and Bring Joy to Your Life. Carrie's powerful stories and compelling guests will empower you to change how you look at your own life while giving you some powerful tools and tips you can use every day to help you feel better and move yourself closer to the life you've been longing to live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Look for the Good. I'm your host, Carrie Rowan, mindset strategist and life coach, and I love sharing nuggets of wisdom about the stories we tell each other, and more important, those stories we tell ourselves. And you can join me and my special guests as we share our personal stories of strength and triumph every week here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. You can listen online on your mobile device, in your car, or ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 Radio. And you can tune in every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time to get real stories and tips on how to turn your story and your life around. And welcome, everybody. Don't forget, evolve with us as we unite humankind with universal love. I'm so excited to be here with you on this beautiful day. And I can't wait to tell you who's waiting in the wings. We can wave to Diane. Hello. And this is going to be really great. You know, I love talking about stories. My book's about stories. We always like to dive into those stories. And it's really those quiet little stories that we tell ourselves that half the time are not even true, right? Those stories that we picked up when we were mere children before 7 years old. But somehow they just repeat in our head. We've got this script that just goes on and on. And most of the time, we don't even realize it's happening. So I really love shining a light on what some of those stories are and how you overcame those stories, right? What were those stories that we used to tell each other or tell ourselves or each other that were not serving us? And how do we evolve past them? How do we get rid of those and dump those stories that have been around since we were kids? So I know that my friend Diane loves talking about that stuff too. So, without further ado, Diane Lund, I'm so excited to have you here on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And I'm going to read a little bit of her bio. She's done so many incredible things. I can't read the whole thing because we would, it's so long, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Diane. Um, So, for over 30 years, she's been the owner and creative director of her award winning company, Creative Wonders Communications, where she works directly with clients to help them grow their companies through integrated creative communications, including both traditional TV, radio, print, and outdoor, and digital e news, blogs, and websites. In addition to her creative passion, Diane has always held a deep interest in spirituality and believes at our essence we are all creative spirits here creating our biggest project, our own lives. I love that. You can see why Diane and I get along so well. And after studying A Course in Miracles, I love your work with A Course in Miracles for over 25 years, Diane became a spiritual minister through CIMM, and she has a focus on the teaching of the principles of the Course. Diane has offered spiritual study groups for over 25 years. Amazing. Today, she has combined both of her loves into a membership website called Miracles and Wonders, where she offers a year-long course divided into 5 parts called Sacred Creative Arts. In addition, she offers evergreen courses, books, and 8 decks of spiritual cards. And her work is beautiful. I have her book. I have some of her cards. You guys are going to love, love, love everything about Diane. She's so in sync with what we talk about here. Oh, and by the way, she's launched 3 Amazon best-selling books. Hello, congratulations.
Thank you.
And the list goes on and on, Diane. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
I'm so excited to be here with you, Carrie. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I absolutely love the work that you do. And I love how you've created, you've got that strong business acumen. You had a successful, you still do have a successful business. How did you incorporate spirituality into that? Because I think in a lot of people's minds, they think business and spirituality don't cross, but you and I know that they do. How did you bring that in there?
Well, I always had a deep love for spirituality. I mean, as a kid, I used to take the neighborhood kids into the woods and light a candle and have a little ceremony. So I was always doing sort of little spiritual things. I wasn't brought up religious, but I had a deep interest in spirit. And so when I decided to have my own company, um, I was actually trying to be a counselor, and I was going to the Haven and taking a counseling degree at the time. I decided I wanted out of advertising. I wanted to do something a bit deeper. But the people who, knew me from my prior life kept, asking me to do things in the communication area. And I kept saying, no, no, I'm going to be a counselor. I'm going to be a counselor. I'm going to do something more spiritual. But I, I couldn't stop it. It was like almost the more I said no, the more people wanted me to do it. And so eventually I said to the great spirit in the sky, okay, already, I'll do it. I'll go back.
I hear
But
you.
I hear you. You don't need to give me another swift kick. But this
Mhm.
time I decided if I was going to have my own company, I was going to bring my spirit with me. And I really believe that creativity is is something you do every moment of your life. It's who you are.
Yeah.
You are creating in every moment of your life. So I weave my spiritual principles into my business. I didn't necessarily say, hey, this is a spiritual principle, but I decided no fear advertising, for example, no, just working from loving concepts, supportive concepts, things like that. And eventually I had kind of a wake up moment.
Mm.
And I can talk to you about that if you like, where,
I would love, I love those moments. These are the moments, the wake up, the spiritual two by four.
yeah.
I love talking about that. So we would love to hear about your wake up moment, Diane. Share that with us and what was really
Yeah.
transformative.
So a couple of years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, literally, just bolted right up in bed and went, oh my God, why did I not put this together? So I'd been teaching my Course in Miracles study groups for 20 plus years. I'd had my company for, 25 plus years at that point. And I went, oh my God, creativity and spirituality are the same thing. They're the same thing.
Mhm.
Why have I never realized that? I mean, it was just like such an aha moment to me. And that's when I thought, oh my God, I've got to put them together.
Mhm.
Because really, creativity is another way into your own spirit. Because your spirit is nothing but creative. It's here creating your life. And it
Exactly.
creates your life through the same principles that I used in my business. I have a theory, ready, aim, fire. You've got to do all sides of the triad. I have a little triangle that explains it. On radio, you can't see it, but it's a triangle brochure and it talks about ready, aim, fire. When all three come together, you get growth and you create. When
Mm.
you only have one or two sides activated, you don't get as much growth or success in your life. And so I help my clients bring all sides of the triad, ready, aim, fire. In my business, you might have called it the creative, the production, and the marketing, really.
I love that. I love that. I love how you bring all that together because a lot of people might have the fire, but they've never aimed. They're just fire, 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 right? Or,
Yeah,
um,
like realtors are often fire, 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 go,
yeah,
go, 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 do,
yeah,
do, do, do. But they burn out.
sure.
Fire,
Yeah,
fire, they burn out.
right.
Or people that want to write lists all the time, aim, 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 aim. But they never get anything done.
Right.
Nothing comes off the list, and so
What
it
about
just,
the ones who are never ready?
well, I mean, us creatives, we just get idea after idea after
Yes.
idea. We just want to run out and do it, do it, do it
Yeah.
without kind of doing the kind of research that's necessary if you're going to be taking an idea to marketplace, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. I think that's so, I love that because you simplified something that a lot of people can't get their arms around. Why is it not working? Why can't, what I mean? I have all these great ideas, but I can't make anything happen. And I love how you really simplify that. and you really help your clients hone in on where they're what they're good at, and then what do you need to get to good at the next level, right? What do you get? You might have the ready but not the aim, or you got the aim but no fire. Like, what do we need to hone in on? That really gives you a nice roadmap, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it helps me learn where I can best help my clients. Normally, what the area that they um, aren't doing or are doing very little in is an area they don't love.
Mm,
And and so it's like, so creative people, they don't like to take the time to research, a lot of them. It
right.
just takes too much time. I just want to get going. I just want to do it.
Right.
Give
I
me the
have this great
paintbrush.
idea.
That's a great idea. I just want to do it. Don't get in my way with numbers or
Right.
facts or, I don't want that. Where where people who are like lawyers and logical, and they want all the numbers and the facts and the figures, and
Mm,
so they'll spend lots of time doing that, right?
yeah.
And maybe also the ideas, but never really putting anything into action because they get overwhelmed in the facts and the figures and the,
Mm,
and oh, there's so many people doing it. Well, why would I be any better than anyone else that's already doing it? And they begin to
mm,
freak themselves out.
sure.
So there's, yeah, it helped me help my clients do the things that mostly they didn't want to do, because usually I had to put back the area that they were uncomfortable in,
Hmm.
didn't want to do themselves, which is, a good thing. Hand it over to a professional when
Yeah.
you don't want to do it all yourself. That's a great way. So just identifying where they needed help, I
Hmm.
could really bring the help they needed over the many years. So
I love that. I love what you said about the marriage of creativity and spirituality, because as an artist, I embrace that wholeheartedly. You only really feel alive when you're creating, right? When you're having those ideas. When I'm downloading a song, when I'm incorporating into a book and bringing all the pieces together. But you can feel the power of that, and I feel like people often say, and you might hear this as well, oh, I'm not creative. I,
I
I,
hear that all
I
the
don't have
time.
a create, right? Oh, what? Because I love doing seminars on creativity. I don't have a creative bone in my body. Okay, wait a minute. Time out. We come from creation. How can we not be creative? But I think people get that mixed up because they don't have a paintbrush in their hand, or, they're not sketching something, right? They're thinking creativity, artist, but you can make a beautiful dinner and be creative. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we are all creative.
We are all creative, and you can't stop being creative. And so when people say to me, "Oh, I'm not creative," I say, it's impossible. You're an extension of the creator. You are exactly what the creator is: light, love, and creativity. And what we're doing here is we're creating our own lives, and each one is so unique. Try to find an exact copy
Mm,
of your life somewhere else.
right?
It's impossible because we're each
Yeah.
so unique and we create so uniquely. And yet we use the same principles to create. And so I say everything in life is a creative act. Sitting on the couch is a creative act because you decided, I'm going to sit on the couch. I'm not going to do anything. Maybe I need a day off, whatever. But
Yeah.
you were still creating it. And we don't put such a large frame around creativity. We tend to
Mm,
think creativity is the arts, which it is,
hmm.
but it's not just the arts. It's everything. I mean, it could be making love, making a snowman, making a cake. It could be just anything. It could be approaching your children in a new way and relating to them differently. Everything is a creative act, and that's what I try and help people embrace.
Mm,
But surprisingly for me, who has been a creative director most of my life, and so embracing creativity, I've had just a shocking surprise in the last couple of months where I saw my girlfriend had done an art piece and she put it on Facebook, and I liked it. And so I looked up the artist and I enrolled in her online class. And oh my God,
mm.
I discovered I'm an artist.
I love that.
I did my
Really?
first painting at
Wow.
8, and
Wow.
so I was like,
Congratulations.
I just shocked myself by my ability to just do and have fun. And, so I think creativity is fun. It is when you absolutely lose time. You know you're having a really
Mm,
fun, creative time when hours go by. You're
yeah,
playing your music or
yeah,
you're out walking in the forest or something and you didn't realize it was 3 hours, not an hour and a half.
totally
That
in the
you,
zone, right?
yeah, you're totally in the
Yeah,
zone.
you're in the zone. They talk about getting in that zone. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
I
so
love that.
I adore that. And so when I decided, okay, miracles from A Course in Miracles and wonders from my company, Creative Wonders, I've got to put these things together and help people understand that their life is their creative project.
Yeah.
And we're all doing it the same way. And wouldn't you want to do it in a way that creates more miracles and wonder in your life? So I created this course, Sacred Creative Arts, and it's 5 parts, 8 weeks each part. So I've
Mm-hmm.
done the first 3 parts this beginning of this year, and I'm about
Mm-hmm.
to do the fourth part in the fall. But it was from doing this course that, for me, for example, one of the lessons in the course was about feng shui and looking at the feng shui of your home. And I looked at mine and went, "Oh my God!" In my kitchen, I have this gigantic 100-gallon fish tank that had had a big death. We called it a kill. One time, we'd had these beautiful tropical fish for 10 years, and
Mm.
the temperature went off, and they all died one night, and it was sitting like a graveyard in our
Oh,
kitchen.
how sad.
It was so sad, and
Oh,
every time I talked to my husband about getting the aquarium up and running again, he would be like, "No, no, I'll do it. Just give me my time. I'm grieving." So, anyways,
oh,
years went by, and it was just this, like it had tanked in our
right.
in our
The tank,
kitchen.
the tank.
The tank had tanked, and so when I did the feng shui section in my course, because I
Mm,
do this stuff with the students, I thought, okay, what area is that? That's in the career area of my home. The
mm.
color is blue and the element is water. So this big, ugly, swampy tank, may be tanking parts of my career. Let's clean it up. So it's when I cleaned it up and I found somebody
Mm-hmm.
and they had this beautiful blue light on it and all new fish. And anyways, it's gorgeous.
Oh,
It was exactly in that 6 week period when I was cleaning out the fish tank that I
yeah.
had this new art enter into my life. It's like a
Wow.
whole new career. And discovering things like that for yourself, actually applying principles, whether they're principles of feng shui or principles from the course or principles from the I am material or whatever they are. But when you apply them in your life and you see the effects, I mean, I've been blown away, shocked. I kept
Mm,
I kept saying, is
wow.
this coincidence or is this truly the power? The
Right.
power of, I don't know.
Releasing, and it's,
Certainly,
yeah, it's that
certainly works.
concept. Yeah, it's that concept of, and you said a couple really important things that I want to touch on. You said you can like know something, but it's applying it to your life, right? Oh, I know all that. I know feng shui. I know. But when you actually stop for a minute and say, okay, it's like walking out of a seminar and never using the information again. It's
Mhm.
one thing to know it in your head intellectually, but bringing it down into your body and applying it in your life directly, that's the only place that change happens. And look what happened to you. All of a sudden now
I am shocked.
yeah, you're an
I just
artist.
shocked with what has happened, and I just and I'm having so much fun. And my
Mm.
phrase for this year is "Oh, what fun!"
Is
That's
it?
what.
I love
Yeah,
that.
my phrase is "Oh, what fun! Let's
Oh,
have
what
fun."
fun. I love that. Wow, it makes my boring word of the year, trust, really look like a an old rock.
Well, it is the epitome of oh, what fun. So,
Hmm.
like even picking a word for the year, that's a
Yes,
creative act, right?
it
It's a
is.
creative act and it's going to help it's focusing my attention. I've really not thought a lot about fun in my life because I've had a company where I've had over 50 employees and, tons
Mm.
of work, national, regional work that took up a lot of time and a lot of energy. And so I never asked myself, what do you do for fun? Well, I mean, I did my work for fun for sure,
Yeah,
but
of course.
outside of work, what do you do
Right.
for fun?
I love
What?
that. We forget about fun, especially us women. We forget about joy. Joy is fun. Fun is joy. I feel
Joy.
like those two are so interchangeable, right? And it's like, I help women all the time figure out what is it that I love? What do I do that's fun? I
Yeah.
had sitting across from dinner the other night, somebody said, oh, that sounds so fun. I don't have any fun in your life. I was like, wait, what? You can't go through life and not have fun. That's what makes us
Gotta have
feel
fun.
alive. Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta have fun, and we do wait a long time to have fun
we
because
do.
we've got mortgages and payments and responsibilities and
Mm-hmm.
kids and all kinds of
Yep,
things. But
yep.
at some point, I realized to myself, I gotta make a fun list. I have a green folder.
Love it. Let's see the fun list.
I have a green folder. And in my green folder, these are all the things I can control in my life.
I love it.
And it's all about what can you do in 10 minutes to have fun?
Love that. I hope you have dance party for one on there.
I don't have dance party. I'm going to add
Oh,
that.
come
See,
on. That's one of my favorites. Please
how is your
take it.
another thing? Dance
Dance
party.
party. Yeah, I call it a dance party for one. I turn on, if I have like a big call or something coming up, turn on my favorite song and I just dance in my office. Nobody has to know. My kids, I don't shut the doors. They think I'm weird anyways. And I can have a dance party for one. Or I can invite people to my dance party, my kids, or my dog likes to dance, you know,
I love
whoever
it.
wants to join me.
I love it. See, I don't have dance party on here,
Now
right? So
you
I just
do.
wrote it down.
Now you do.
Yeah.
Another fun thing that I love to do if I have, and I feel like it's just like you, I love what you said, 10 minutes, 10 minutes of fun. What 10 minutes can I do for fun? Sometimes I'll get my little mini tramp, my trampoline, and I put it here in my office behind me, and I'll just jump. Again, music, I'm just jumping, but I'm moving my energy, right? I'm feeling good and fun before I get on a call, and I come all vivacious and alive because I had a creative act in there too
Oh,
with having fun and coupling those things together are just
yeah. And
natural.
so it's putting some effort into um, your own life, really. I
Yeah,
mean, especially as women, we put a lot of effort into everyone else's life and helping everyone else. But what about ourselves?
we sure do.
And
Yep.
focusing on, what can I do? Like this morning for me, the lavender is at the perfect moment right now. And I have
Mm,
a yard full of lavender, and I went out and picked
mm.
um, bouquets of lavender to take to people in the hospital. And
Oh,
that's what I'll be doing after this. It's like, it's such a beautiful thing. It smells so lovely, and it's so, and plus, you cut it and you can have it. You don't have to put it in water, it just dries itself. And so, that's only for a tiny part of the year that
yeah.
that's available.
Yes, exactly. And it
So,
makes you feel so good to give it to somebody else and
yeah.
share the beauty and share the joy. I love that. We're going to break real quick, everybody. I know you're hanging on Diane every word, but we'll be right back with Diane Lund. Hold tight. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Look for the Good. We're having this incredible conversation with the Diane Lund. I was going to say the dynamic Diane Lund. And it is so powerful. I love everything you're talking about. We left off talking about what we do for fun, right? And oh, what fun is your phrase of the year. And I love where we started going. It made me start thinking about self care and fun. Fun is self care, right? Let's talk a little bit about that and how we forget about self care. You were just mentioning that as women, we give everything away to everybody else. We forget what we like and what's fun for us. How can we bring more self care into our life?
Well, I think that for me, um, being creative is self-care. And I had this big company, which was all fine and good. But my husband said to me one day, Diane, you will never write anything for yourself, because I wanted to write my books, if you don't stop writing for other people. You have to
Mm,
cut down, scale back if
wow.
you ever are going to do your own creativity. And my own creativity is my own self-care. That's taking care of
Mm,
myself, my needs, what I want to get out there in the world, not just doing it for other people all the time. So it was a big shift and a big change in my life when I decided to downsize my business, move it home, and start to. I continued doing Creative Wonders all the way
mm,
along, but just at a smaller scale. So I had time for myself. So carving out time for yourself for self care, and then, doing whatever makes you happy. And almost always, whatever makes you happy is something creative, whether it's baking cookies or
mm-hmm.
arranging flowers or arranging the colors in your closet, whatever you're doing, usually it's something creative that you love.
So
And
good. Yeah.
recently, like I've always loved to write in journals. I have hundreds of them. And so there was this course, the artist and the journal, and I wanted to take it because I thought, Well, I'm always scribbling. I'm a
Hmm.
writer,
Hmm.
and I'm always doing journaling, and I love to do collage, and this thing puts it together. That sounds awesome.
Mm.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
And anyways, this woman is an artist, and I never ever thought of myself as an artist. As a creative director, I directed art
The art,
directors.
exactly. The
I
creative process.
directed the
Yep.
art directors.
To
I would
oversee it. Hmm.
scribble little things and say, okay, this is
Hmm.
what I want. And then they would go to their computers and, do all the technical
Yeah.
drawing of
Sure.
what we
Ex-
were talking about, whether
mhm.
it was a print ad or an outdoor billboard or whatever. But I never ever thought of myself as an artist. I thought of myself as creative, but not an artist. I can't draw. I mean,
Right.
I can't possibly be an artist. I'm not good enough.
Mm.
I know the people that are good enough. I've seen
Right.
them.
Right.
And so, what a shock
That's
when this
amazing.
spring I took my first art course, did my first painting, and thought, shoot, I can do this. Like, like,
It's so
and I'm
right.
good at it.
I
Yeah.
love that. You are good at it. See, and that's what I think what you just said is so important because that is what stops people in their tracks, right? It's that syndrome. Before you even started, you're telling yourself you're not good enough. There's this jet when it comes to art, we do that. We do
We
that to
do that.
ourselves. That inner critic does that all the time. And when we can learn how to, quiet that inner critic and appreciate that muse and really bring that muse up to the surface. Tell that muse that we love what it's bringing us instead of criticizing it, or shutting it down before it even gets a chance to come
Or
out.
just think you don't have it,
Right.
like I don't even have it. I can't go there because I don't have a creative bone in my body. I can't draw a person's face, or I mean I can draw a stick man,
Draw a
but
stick man too.
this was so freeing because it was
Yeah.
like, I don't care if you can draw. This person said, don't draw with your right hand, always draw with your left.
Really?
I was
Ooh.
like, what? Draw with my left? I'm really bad with
Mm.
my right, but now you want me to draw with my, and I want you to scribble, and I don't want you to stay in the lines, and I don't want you to use colors that you like. I mean, it was
Wow.
everything to get you out of the box.
Right. I love that. Stretch you
And
out of
it
the
just,
comfort zone.
yeah, and this creativity just went pow
Wow. I
from
love
my,
that.
yeah, my husband started calling me Emily Carr. He said, "How are you doing today, Emily?" I'm up in my studio
That's
working.
you get this whole new identity that you created for yourself.
Well, yeah, and part of it is from this course that I created, Sacred
Yeah,
Creative Arts, which teaches you about your own creative essence.
I love that.
How do I bring my own creative essence forward? And how do I bring it forward in my life? And so the first step was about acknowledging and
Hmm.
becoming aware of your processes.
Yeah,
What are the various processes? Where do you get stuck and why?
yeah, I
And then,
love that.
the next part was about, how can you use various different arts, sacred creative arts, to bring um, meaning into your life. Like,
Right,
not everything is going to ring your bell. Like,
right,
we have
right.
a friend, Nancy O'Keefe, who teaches human design. So
Yes,
she was one of the teachers that came on and taught about human design.
I love human
And
design.
so it's not just me, it's other people that bring their expertise
Yeah,
and, talk to people, about becoming more aware, acknowledging what you're good at, acknowledging where you're stuck, looking at different ways of being in the world, and actually putting it into action. Like you said, it's not
yeah,
just about attending the seminar, it's about
totally.
actually
Yeah,
doing it.
that's the only thing that ever really works. And I feel like once people take the time to really figure that out and look inside and ask themselves those questions that they don't normally ask, that's really the only thing that lights up our soul. That
It does.
creativity is the only thing that makes us feel alive. I got away from my music for a while and to the point where I couldn't stop thinking about it. It just kept coming back into me. My spirit was like, write, create, pick up your guitar. And so I started writing songs again. And
Wow,
I'm like,
good for you.
oh, here I am.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh my God, there I am. Where was I? Where did I go? I can't. not do this. I can't not do this. This is who I am at a soul level.
Yeah, it's who you are and who we are at a soul level. We want to bring that out. I mean, I often talk about, if you're going to do 1,000 piece puzzle, right? Say each of us is one of the pieces in the puzzle, and you get right to the end. You put 999 pieces down, and you can see the picture, but there's one piece missing. One piece.
Mm,
Do you know how valuable that one piece is?
right.
That
It
one
just became the
person's
most
piece?
valuable. Right.
That one person that didn't ante in
Right.
their piece of the puzzle, their piece of the big picture. Every piece is that important that if one of them is missing, something's missing from the whole big picture. So I think we're here to put in our piece.
I love that. And
P
it's a
I E
piece,
C E.
right? PIECE, but
And yes,
PACE also is what you get from being creative. But what I was going to say is because nobody else has that piece but us.
nobody has that piece except for
Right.
you.
Right.
You have the Carrie piece. I have the Diane piece.
Right.
And we won't feel fulfilled if we try and put in the Jonathan piece or the
Right.
Carrie piece or the no, we have to put in the Diane piece and the
Yeah.
Carrie piece. And
Yeah.
it isn't like everyone else. No, it's different.
Right.
And that's why we have to embrace
Yeah. And
other
that's
people's
right.
differences
I
and
love that.
uniquenesses, and because it's all part of the big picture.
It is.
And we all lift each other up when we all can put in our own uniqueness and find it within ourselves. I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
just
just
such
it.
a creative joy for me
Yeah.
to be creating my own art. And like right away, within the first 2 months, I found my unique style. Everyone says it will just
Wow.
emerge, and it did.
Really?
It
That's
did. It
cool.
just came forward like, and I thought, oh my God, I've been doing this forever. Because what came together was from my creativity,
Hmm.
from my creative direction for years. I have a lot of creative ideas, so the ideas were there. From my spirituality, following my gut and my intuition, I've been practicing that for years.
Yeah.
So I brought that to the art. Just stay open. Don't know what you're going to do. We don't know what you're going to do. Just stay open and just start and see what happens. And always this amazing thing appears that I didn't pre-think it. I didn't plan it. It just emerged from having a creative idea to,
Mm.
get there, sit down, follow my intuition, and just go with the flow.
Yeah.
And suddenly these amazing things started to emerge. So it
Yeah.
was really putting the creativity and the spirituality practices together.
Together. And I love that. Well, you just represented right there. You just depicted what it takes to have that creative life, right? Follow your gut and your intuition. Stay open to possibilities. Tell yourself you don't know, because I think that's where we get locked into our brain. That's where we think we know the answers. We really don't. But allowing that and to go with the flow, all those pieces of advice just in life, never mind art, right? Art represents life. It really
Yeah,
does.
it really does. And it's so exciting. Well, I'm sure it is for you when you download a song or it just comes out of, and somebody said, well, where did that come from? I mean, lately with this new style of art that I've been trying for myself, literally the painting talks to me. It
Mm-hmm.
literally tells me what to do
Mm.
next.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
it's like bizarre. It's like, and I can tell if I'm not following the direction correctly.
Right?
Yeah, because it's like, no,
Yeah.
no, this is where the flower needs to go, and this is
Yeah.
the da-da here. It's where, and it's like I'm in dialogue. I'm in
Yeah. I
dialogue.
love that. That is so beautiful. I feel like the other really important thing, because I'm not that kind of an artist, but I
You
love
are
art.
an
Well,
artist.
I am an artist. Okay, so
You are an artist.
here's the thing. A friend of mine who is an incredible painter. She's incredible. She doesn't think she is, but she's unbelievable. And we'll get together. I think I was telling you this before when we chatted. We'll get together and we'll have these little paint and sip nights, right? So I'll bring a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
And my daughter started coming too because it was so therapeutic. The therapeutic part of art is so underrepresented. The anti-stress and anti-anxiety and all the things that happen when you are fully immersed in creativity. And so we started doing these painting, and it doesn't matter what you paint. Um,
And
It's
it
just,
doesn't matter whether you're collaging or you're
yeah,
journaling
whatever.
or,
Yeah.
whatever. It's just that
Mhm.
you are taking that time to express yourself.
Yeah.
And
Therapeutic.
what I
Hmm.
love about this woman is she's like all about scribbling and
I
just
like
starting.
scribbling. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you can scribble,
Yeah, it's like the
you can do
scary
this
blank,
art.
right? It's the scary blank piece of paper, right? It's like the blank piece of paper for a writer. But I love the scribble. I love the just have a brainstorm session. Just brainstorm, just get
Yeah,
something down because then you can go through with your highlighter and say, ooh, this is yummy. I like this. This could be nice, right? Same thing. It doesn't matter what your art is. Even if you're trying to figure out what to make for dinner that night, it's the same process, right?
it's the same process, and you can have just as much fun creating dinner, you
Yeah.
know, as you can doing something that is quote typically creative. I mean, I've been creative all my life, but never done a piece of art. My first painting was this year. So, you know, and I've
Right?
only been
Who
doing it
knew?
for, 3 months. I mean, I'm just a newbie
A
over
newbie, but right? But oh my gosh, it's so powerful. And the goosebumps that you are literally flowing the energy in through your seventh chakra when you are in that creative mode. And I've actually seen it with other writers that I've worked with. I could literally see the energy coming down. They were pulling as they were at the piano. So it's a
here.
real powerful thing. It's a real thing. We're going to break real quick, everybody. We'll be right back with Diane Lund. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Look for the Good. And this conversation is so enlightening. Diane and I were just talking about creativity and how it's underrated and it is taken for granted. Let's talk a little bit about that. We talked about how therapeutic it is. How are we always creating in our lives?
Well, because I believe every single moment is a creative moment. I think I said earlier,
Yes.
even sitting on the couch, you created sitting on the couch by deciding today I'm not going to do anything, I'm going to sit on the couch. So you are still creating something. It just might not be what you typically classify as creative.
Mm-hmm.
When we're little, we're joyously creating all the time and we're
Mm.
just, on fire with it. And when you're learning something new, you're kind of often on fire with it. When you're learning how to drive, it might be awkward figuring out, do I push in the clutch? When do I, move the stick? And you might jerk the car a little bit and you're really overly aware of what you're doing. But
Mm-hmm.
after you've been doing something for a while, what happens is you often go on automatic. And, if you're driving a car for a long time, like I have, you can sometimes wonder, ooh, did I stop at that stoplight?
Right. How
Because
did I get here?
yeah. Or was I supposed to turn two streets to go because I've been daydreaming?
Yeah.
No, I'm driving a car. I really shouldn't be daydreaming. But that's what happens with your life. The act of creating, which I say is in every moment,
Mm-hmm.
you go kind of asleep to the idea that you are creating your life because you get into habits and things and you just think this is my life. No. Every moment you is a source of endless possibility and endless choice.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm really trying to help people do is become aware. You are the creator of your own life. No one else is doing it. You're the director, you're the producer. You put the cast members in, you do the whole thing.
I love
And,
that.
and then the tough part is, and that makes you responsible.
Well, I was just going to say that. That's the part that people don't like. They don't like that. But when you
Yes.
can take 100% responsibility for the things going on in your life because you cast the people in those roles, right? I think that's where people get a little squeamish about that whole idea of
Yes,
creativity.
they do. They get squeamish because they don't want to take responsibility for
Right.
everything. You mean I created that illness that I didn't want? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, you didn't create it consciously,
Right.
but subconsciously there must be some sort of pattern inside that is creating it because it is your body and
Right.
it is your process.
Right.
And I always say illness is just dis-ease. It's just
Yes.
I am not at ease in myself. I am
Mm-hmm.
going against probably what my gut has been trying to alert me to for a really long time. So I teach people, how do you make choices? Do you make choices from your head? Do you make choices from your heart and your emotions, or do you make them from your gut and from your innermost being? And
Mm-hmm.
so we track. pick, here's a great exercise for people. Pick two things that were great, you made great choices.
Okay. Love that.
And then pick two things where you didn't
Mm-hmm.
make a good choice. And then track, did the decision, when you made a good decision, come from your
Mm-hmm.
head? If that is from thinking. Did it come from emotion? I just have to do this. I just love him so much.
We all know
Or
that one.
or did it come from that inner
Uh,
prompt?
yeah.
Like I've had inner prompts my whole life, and I think
Mm.
people call it the small still voice.
Mm-hmm.
They call it spirit. In the Course of Miracles, they call it Holy Spirit. But you get prompts that try and push you in a certain direction. And, I think a good way to know whether or not that voice, like for example, you might be running out of the door and this little voice goes, take your umbrella. And you go, no,
Right.
I'm already late. I can't take my umbrella, and I head out the door. And so I don't listen.
Yeah.
I don't stop,
Right.
listen, and do. I just race ahead because I think I know better.
Exactly.
And then guess what?
Good
3 hours
example.
later,
Your hair's
I'm,
all ruined.
I'm soaking wet, right? My inner guidance knew how to protect me, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen.
That's a great example. Great
Yeah.
example. Yeah.
And so, did you create being wet? No, I didn't make it rain. Well, no, you didn't make it rain, but you kind of had
You
a
had some
sense that
influence.
maybe
Yeah.
you'd be in rain today or whatever. So,
Yeah.
yes, I mean, some things we participate globally in creating together.
Yeah.
Wars are a good example of that.
Mm,
Our creative consciousness, we are all one creative consciousness.
right.
And then we're also our individual consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all, just by how we are being, our frequency goes out into that consciousness and creates
The global mass. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
culture,
It's so
the
true.
culture that you
Yeah.
live in, the family that you live in, all of that. And
And
I used to say it just takes one person to change.
absolutely. That's all it ever is takes. But I also love, I think one of the things that people lose sight of in this idea of responsibility and creation of our own lives is that we get what we think about, whether we want it or not. What are you focused on, right? What are you focused on? Are you always focused on what's wrong? I'm going to come back down to the name of this podcast, Look for the Good, because that's always available, right? You can
Yes,
always find what's wrong. I mean, that is so easy, and our brains are so beautifully predisposed to look for what's wrong because it's keeping us safe. So how do we shift that, right? How do we, it's part of taking responsibility. Hey, if I'm responsible, I better start paying attention to what's going on up here, right? What am I
that's
saying to
right.
myself? What am I putting out? Am I telling people about all the things that are wrong in my life? Or am I talking about that one thing that's going really well? There's five
Yeah,
things that are going bad, but there's that one thing. Why don't I focus on that? Right?
exactly. Why don't I focus on that one thing that's going really, really well?
Yeah.
And, we make the choice to turn the TV set on or not, listen to the news and
Yeah.
frighten ourselves or not. We
True.
make those choices. And so yeah, getting conscious, not falling asleep in your life, literally not sleepwalking through your life. Where are you making your choices from? Where do you make good choices from? Because that's where people don't want to, as you say, take responsibility. They want to say, oh
Mhm.
no, I didn't choose that. Well, you had a part in it or you wouldn't be there.
Sure.
You
Yeah. But and there's
did.
always something there for you, right? Like, and that's where I always teach my clients to ask yourself better questions.
Yes.
Okay, if I'm responsible for this, then wow, I wonder what else could be possible here in this situation. Or there must be something here that this situation is trying to teach me or show me something. What if I looked at this from a higher level of thinking? How would I see this differently? You start to get better at asking yourself those questions, which I love about Course in Miracles because it's all about that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
catching yourself when you fall asleep again, catching yourself when you start blaming other people for what's happening. Wow, I
Yeah,
wonder
because
what my part was.
blaming and judging don't usually get you great results. You know?
No,
No, I
no.
mean, when did you ever blame somebody that they thanked you for it? Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, oh yeah, thanks.
Right? It just
I'll take
creates
all that.
more dissonance, right? It's not creating the
Yes,
harmony.
it's
It's
not
like with,
creating
right?
harmony.
It's like with anything. It's like approaching somebody in a relationship. Hey, with here's my piece of it. Hey, I know we just didn't disagreed on this. And here's what I did, like approaching somebody with a whole different mindset of owning what was yours. And it's that reciprocal piece, right? Then somebody else wants to step up and say, oh, wow, well, you know what? Actually, here's what I did, right? It's a
Yeah.
beautiful shift in our mindsets that really can shift the planet.
And it does shift the culture, the dialogue, whatever's going on, and and it can make people reach out again rather than withdraw and retract. When I was taking my counseling at Haven, they said there's really only you're either moving towards something or you're pulling back from something.
Mm,
And so, how are you moving towards something? And if you want to move towards someone or something, then you you show love.
I was just thinking that moving towards love, right?
Yeah, yeah, you move towards
Yeah.
love. If you're backing away, you're usually backing away because of fear. And the Course in Miracles is all about right-minded thinking is love-based thinking, wrong-minded thinking is fear-based thinking, and it's a mind training to get you out of fear-based thinking
Mm,
and into love-based thinking
I love
so
that.
that you can create miracles. A Course in Miracles defines a miracle as a shift in perception.
I love that. And we can all do that.
We can all do that.
We're all capable of that, right? Like that you could have changed that whole relationship, that scenario we were just talking about, by coming at it from a different perspective, from a loving, kind perspective. There's so much of that that is missing in the world these days that we need more of, but it does. It starts with each one of us bringing that mindset to each and every relationship. And creativity is where we fill ourselves up first so that we can give more to other people.
It really is true. Your life is your creative project, and bringing more awareness and to your own life project will reap great rewards for you. Will reap more happiness, more joy, because you're picking those things that actually focus you. So if I'm in a rat's wheel of thinking something bad and I go over to my green folder and think of what can I do in 10 minutes that will make me feel better? Oh, go
Mm-hmm.
water my plants. Oh, go cut some lavender in the garden or whatever. Just
Yeah,
little things.
love that.
Because it's just little things that break the cycle and get
Absolutely.
you to, and because you have to practice every day.
You do. I tell it to clients all the time. It's you because we dismiss the little things like they're not important. Well, those tiny little things start to add up, and then you look back a month from now and you're like, "Ooh, wow! Look at all these things I've done. I'm feeling so much better." It's only ever in those tiny little baby steps that lead to the transformation.
That's right. And people can make those tiny baby steps. It seems too big to,
Yeah,
you don't want to start by forgiving somebody you've had some issue with forever.
right.
That might be just way too big
Too
and
much. Mm-hmm.
insurmountable.
Mm-hmm.
But, forgive yourself for some little
Absolutely.
things that you do that don't bring you joy. Forgive
Exactly.
yourself. Move
I
on.
think that's the hardest. I actually have a song that talks about that, and ask that question, the bridge. Why is it so easy for us to forgive other people sometimes, but we just have a hard time forgiving ourselves? That could be a whole other show, Diane.
That could be a whole other show. Yeah.
That could be.
How to forgive yourself, right? But,
I love that.
here's what I think of forgiveness. Be forgiving to yourself and to
Mm,
others. It's not, don't be for taking, be
mm,
for giving.
giving. I love that.
And so just
Be
focus more on
forgiving.
giving to yourself and giving to others.
Yeah,
Make sure it's in balance
that's really beautiful.
because you can't just give to everyone else and then hope you've got something left for you at the end.
Right? It's the oxygen mask. You got to put it on
Right.
yourself first, right? So tell everybody, I know people are getting so much of your wisdom and loving it. Where can they find you? Where can they find about this amazing course that you mentioned earlier?
Well, I've got a summer special where you can go to miraclesandwonders.ca. You can sign up for free. And I have a bunch of evergreen courses that you can take for free just to see if you
Wow,
kind of like the
awesome.
philosophy. And I have one course there that's free for free called Creator. Creator. It's a 5-day program. If you sign up for free, you can go take the program. If you like it, then you might think of doing a year-long program with me, or just one of the 5 steps. So, Sacred Creative Arts is a year-long 40-week program. It's broken
Wow.
eight weeks,
Mm-hmm.
5 steps. So
Awesome.
5 steps, 8 weeks each. So you only have to do one of the steps if you want, or you
Mm-hmm.
can. I have some students that are going through for the uh, whole year. We take July and August off because you need time for yourself.
Yeah, you do. You got to go do those fun things. You got
You
to
got to
do
go to the
your
beach
art.
and you got to do your art, and you can't
You got to
be.
tend to the garden. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has
Yeah.
been so amazing, Diane. Your energy is just beautiful. You're sparkling over there. So everybody go visit Diane at Miracles and Wonders. The word "and" is spelled out. So miracles, and wonders.ca. Find out more about her, the amazing work that she's doing. And we'll look for her again because we're going to come back and talk about the forgiving yourself. Thank you,
Okay.
Diane, for coming on today.
Thank you, Carrie. It was so much fun. It just is, time evaporates when you're having fun.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And everybody, remember, be well. And remember, it is never too late to live your best story. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Look for the Good with your host, Carrie Rowan, best-selling author and mindset coach. Join us every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. right here at Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. If you weren't able to catch an episode, no worries. Just visit our website to find all the archived episodes of Look for the Good on demand, so you don't miss a thing. And remember, it's never too late to live your best story. For additional resources or to find out about how you can work with Carrie directly, visit carrierowan.com for more details.